Hey, good morning, Patriots. Man, oh man, it's another day and another month. Where did January and February go? They're gone. They're like, whew. They went faster than $1,000 on Hunter Biden's night out with Vegas prostitutes. Man, it's like gone. I mean, like gone. And you have nothing left except uh, nacho cheese and the carpet that you're trying to sniff, right? And someone who does not sniff carpets or cheese is Chris Cordani. Good morning, Chris.
That's right. You might say the days are going faster than, let's just say, lines on Vladimir Zelensky's desk.
Man, oh man, he's going to be looking for a 12-step program real soon. I think he's about to hit his alcoholic bottom. For those who have been friends of Bill, know what I'm talking about. So just saying.
Well, let's put it this way: his 12 steps were to the EU and congressional Democrats. So I have a feeling he's not going to learn any lessons anytime soon.
So it's interesting. I think he met for breakfast with congressional Democrats before the White House office. And for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, this is about Zelenskyy. The ostensible president of Ukraine, and apparently he met with all these. I guess they had those deep fried Twinkies for breakfast, and then man, oh man, I guess I think he had a sugar rush or something. That's in the White House, because man, that meeting could not have gone worse. So
no, it was pretty bad, and we have some clips of it. I have some short ones of
it.
But we'll play those, and I'm sure we don't mind watching them again because they are hilarious. It's like watching Seinfeld over and over again, only Yakov Smirnoff was in every episode.
Yeah.
I like that.
Well, I think we'll break this down a little bit because for those who do follow me, I was on Newsmax First Edition talking about this. I was on not our show, Wake Up America weekend yesterday with Kirsha and John, and we talked about this. And my goodness sake, next thing I know, I'm tweeting it out, and I've got checking this morning, Chris. There's 1.5 million views of that tweet we're referring to based on that article right there.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And believe me, people are watching. People got to watch what actually normally should have happened behind closed doors. So on the one hand, maybe look. On the surface, you say, hey, they could have kept this behind closed doors. On the other hand, Zelenskyy did push to see what would happen, see how far they'd go. And I'm pretty sure he was asked to do so just to see if Trump would have an outburst. But it was J.D. Vance calmly dressed him down.
We'll go through all that. But
right, and that was it. But that's the whole thing. Yeah,
I want to walk through all that. But I do want to give credit where credit's due. I look. Something like this doesn't happen because Tony Shaffer wakes up one day. It's like he's got this insight. No, one of the people I listen to are the guys over at the Duran, Alex and Alexander. If you want to know a deeper what's really going on, check out the Duran. They sent me this really nice mug for me being on them a while back when I talk about. But I'm just saying, there's information out there that kind of talks about reality. And as I said on the show this morning, we just want the truth. That's all we really want. As John Burnett said, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Okay, I agree with John. He's right. But the point being is that I think we all deserve to know what's going on. So let's start with the meetings. So Chris, we started with breakfast. Well, not we didn't start with breakfast, but Zelenskyy started with breakfast, and it was like it was like the bar scene in Star Wars, right? And Tatooine. It's like all the villainy.
Except no cool band. And by the way, did you know that song at the Cantina was a top 40 hit?
I did not know that.
Yes, it
was.
What? It was a top 40 hit.
We're geezing here, but I want to hear about this. So what was that song? I didn't know.
Oh, you know what? Now I have to go look that up. What was the Cantina song? All right, give me a few minutes.
But anyway, you get my point. Hit. It's like It's like that's what Obi-Wan Kenobi says. The villainy, the Mos Eisley, the most villain. Well, anyway, Zelenskyy met with those guys. He met with villainy, and so they put him up to this nonsense. So basically, next thing you know, after this meeting, he's supposed to go in and sign the deal. sign the deal. Scott Besson talked about it. Marco Rubio talked about it.
Simple.
It was simple. Everybody agreed on it. By the way, just for the Patriots to know, and good morning, Patriots. I know I said it, but I want to say it again. There he is. This was supposed to be this. Zelenskyy did not have to come to the White House. Trump was being a good guy. He's a good guy. I mean, he's got his own agenda. So Trump says, yeah, let him come. Remember last week, about this time last week, Trump was asked, yeah, I hear he's coming. I hear he's coming Friday. It wasn't Trump pushing this. This wasn't Trump's deal. So for those of you who are even marginally out there saying, well, Trump set this up, he did not set it up. This was Zelensky's deal, and the EU, by the way, because we'll get to that in a second. So anyway, so let's run the clip here. Chris, I think you want to show us something.
Yeah, we have a couple of clips. This one's a little longer, so you can tell me when to stop it. But this is when J.D. Vance stepped in and said, look here, sir.
What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
Effective diplomacy.
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the president for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Count once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to?
And watch him squirm. You see him squirm? Zelenskyy wasn't just squirming now. He was squirming during the entire beginning of the whole thing. It was like the first maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes as well. If you have to watch it.
Trying to prevent the destruction of the country.
Yeah, and so I do encourage people. I mean, yeah, so let's stop there for a second. So I don't think you doubt, like the Patriots here, you don't doubt us. But suffice it to say that before this, there was a good, about 30-minute discussion where Trump and Zelenskyy are getting along. They're kind of joking around. Everything is chill. It's just when this starts right here, when Zelenskyy kind of goes off the rail and starts talking about all this, the history, relitigating things. And it's very clear at that point. And I think J.D. Vance got it. He saw it coming. It's like, no. Don't go down this path. And I think that's where JD did the right thing. Is like try to divert. He was trying to divert Zelenskyy from making the what we now know to be the fatal mistake of doing this. Now, and the other thing I want to bring up to folks, and I brought this up on the air a few minutes ago on Newsmax. Watch Zelenskyy's face right before this, and I don't want you to go back and get it, but right before this, when Trump said we're here to sign the agreement, Zelenskyy looked like his hemorrhoids just attacked him from behind, and they do, I guess. It's like, and it's like, and so it's like it's very clear that he wasn't there to sign anything. You know what I'm saying?
Right. He was there on advice of let's put it this way: he was there to make Trump look angry and make Trump look like a bully. This is why the automatic narrative came out in the media, where it was, Trump looked like a bully. Trump didn't say much. Trump finally said something after Vance dressed him down a little bit, and after Zelenskyy tried to push back on him, Trump stepped in and said, "Look, here's the problem. You are losing. You're sending young men to a meat grinder pretty much every day. And believe me, he's sending young men to a meat grinder, according to some videos, as forcibly as the North and South Koreans did during the Korean War. This is something that Americans and Zelensky's right in one aspect, but the wrong way. There is an ocean between us, and that's why liberals here are so brave and strong and say, "Well, look, we have to fight. We have to make sure the Russians get pushed back against. We should stop them at all costs. We should back Zelenskyy. Of course, you're backing Zelenskyy back behind the lines about 5,000 miles.
Yeah. Right. So let's run a little bit further into this, and then we'll roll right into kind of what's happened since this happened. But go ahead, play a little bit more of this, because this is
a lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning. Sure. First of all, during the war, Everybody has problems, even you. But you have nice ocean and don't feel now.
Well,
But
it's
you
a
will
country.
feel it in the future.
You
God
don't-
bless.
you don't know that.
God bless.
You don't know
God
that.
bless. You will
Don't-
not
Here
have
it
to
comes.
work.
You
Don't
know
tell us
that.
what we're going to feel.
You don't
We're
know
trying
that.
to solve a problem.
Well,
Exactly.
again, I want to point this out. He's an actor. Zelensky's an actor, and he's trying to tug at emotional heartstrings.
A bad
because
actor.
It works on weak
bad
Westerners. But it works on weak Westerners. So now Donald Trump says, we're
Well-
having none of this. No, you're not allowed to do this right now. We're
That's
stopping.
right. That's why I'm wearing my "Let's Go Brandon" T-shirt this morning for the memory of Joe Biden and Jake Sullivan, because they would have caved. Imagine. So Patriots, imagine for a second, and Chris, you too, because you're a Patriot. Last time I checked,
I think so. I'm a Colts
imagine
fan,
if that
but-
was Kamala Harris.
I was thinking
Yeah.
the same thing.
Well, we have our deficits. But think about what if that was Kamala Mala Ding Dong sitting across from Zelensky? Think about that.
Well, first she'd say nothing.
Think about
And
that.
if she did say anything, Americans should learn that a bigger country invaded a smaller country, and that means the country that was smaller got invaded by the bigger country. And now we have the guy from the smaller country saying that we should go fight the bigger country, and we should, because they're the bigger country who fought the smaller country.
Yep.
And what a country!
Yep.
That's
And what a
exactly right.
burger, which is a
Yes.
good place to get a burger. But
You know what else I
Yeah.
learned from this? You know what else I learned from all of this, the narrative and everything you were talking about in that Newsmax article and on Newsmax, and watching Zelensky, watching the EU, watching the fact that the Democrats try to prod this guy. I'm thinking Logan Act, but I'll pull that backwards. Here's what I'm thinking. Now we know where Jake Sullivan's pickle went, the decision pickle. It went into the hands of Vladimir Zelensky.
it's always available. Yeah. So before I get into this, on Saturday, Blaine and I were on Newsmax again. We work for Newsmax, so we're back on there. And Blaine, and I love Blaine. Blaine and I are brothers. General Holt and I are brothers. And Blaine said, well, the best course of action for Zelensky is to get over himself and come back Monday morning and try again. Well, it's Monday morning, Chris, and he ain't trying again. I'm just saying, it's like there's no So I said in one of my posts, and people should follow me on X. I kind of post hilarious stuff, which is often
All
true.
good stuff. All good stuff.
You can be hilarious and truthful at the same time, right, Chris? It's possible. It happens every day.
We try to work that out.
Sometimes by accident.
Yeah, it's not always intentional.
Anyway,
that way.
I know. Well, I said I agree with Blaine. The best course of action for the Z-Man. Can we call him the Z-Man? Like wasn't there a movie about him? World War Z? Was that about him, or is that something else?
Or is it don't mess with the Zohan? Or we should call him
Yeah,
Z-Bob.
that's right.
How about Z-Bob? There we go.
Yeah. So, by the way, was he in Zoolander? Was he the bad guy in Zoolander? No, that was someone else. Anyway, I digress. But I'm just saying, I said, Blaine said he should do it. I said, no, it's not going to happen. I said, if he was smart, he'd go to Georgetown. There he is. If Zelensky would go to Georgetown, buy a suit. By the way, there's a lot of boutiques in Georgetown. You can buy, and by the way, there's midget-sized suits there for little guys like him, like kid size. He could go down to Georgetown and get a nice kid-sized suit, get one of those snap-on ties. Remember the old snap-on ties from the 60s? Probably have one of the snap-on ties for him. He could get one. Anyway, and then say, look, man, oh man. No, he didn't do that. What he did, let's walk through this real quick and summarize.
Yes.
What he did, he went back and started posting thank you messages, cut and paste thank you messages to all the European leaders who were in on the setup.
Yes,
right
every
after
one of them.
the failure of their meeting, next thing you know, there's this plethora. Can I use that word? That's not a bad word, is it?
No, plethora is the right word. That's right.
Plethora of messages coming in from all the European leaders saying, we stand with Ukraine. We don't give them any money, but we stand with them. Okay. And then so he's there doing thank you for your support to comrade all the way through. So that's what he does the rest of the afternoon instead of saying, yeah, maybe I should go get a suit and reconsider. No. And then after he's done doing his Xing with his plethora of replies, You can go check this out. This is on his feed. I'm not
I'm
saying
with you.
anything that's even marginally inaccurate here. And then Saturday morning, where does he go? Where does he go to Georgetown? No. He goes to the most boring man in British politics, Keir Starmer, to 10 Downing Street for a warm embrace. Man, oh man, talk about a warm embrace. They were embracing more than Jake Pickle embraced his predictive pickle. Just saying. So and that's saying a lot. So I don't know. Chris, what are we to make of him fleeing from the United States to the arms of Keir Starmer? That could be a movie. The Arms of Keir Starmer. Ooh, it has a ring to it, right?
Well, you know what? I believe all the celebrities that keep saying
There
they
they
love the
are.
country should follow Zelensky and go to the UK, throw their arms around Keir Starmer and say, "Here's my money. Use it the way you want." And that if they don't like it here, they should go follow Zelensky.
Yeah.
That's what I say. Follow the yellow brickhead road, if you will.
Yeah. Follow the cokehead road. Yeah, I think that's what they should do.
Yes, follow
So
the
anyway,
white lines.
So anyway, what's true? I'm just saying, yeah, follow the white brick road. So yeah, you can go down and spend some time in Colombia.
Follow the first baseline. There we go.
Anyway,
follow the Keith Hernandez first baseline.
Yeah. So anyway, that's right. That's right. He could help with Pete. He could be like a Pete Rose kind of guy and help get his name back in good standing. Anyway, so after the fiasco, he runs into the arms of Keir Starmer, which, man, oh man, I think I should ask my British friends what Keir Starmer smells like. I have the impression he smells kind of like a week old Jergens lotion and cigarettes. I think that's my guess. That's my guess. We should probably do a contest.
Jergens lotion. Oh, here's a funny thing.
Week old Jergens lotion and cigarettes.
Right. Right. And all these EU types are sitting there saying, we're going to put boots on the ground to back you up now. They're trying to talk tough because they figure this isn't going to happen without the U.S. And Zelensky's even hinting that he's going to come back and sign that deal, by the way. He's realizing what kind of a mistake he's made. He probably met with these stiffs from the EU.
No, Scott Besson said it's off the table. No.
All right. Because I'm thinking he probably met with these EU stiffs and said, I'm not sure if these guys backing me up bring me a lot of confidence. That's what I would be thinking if I was him. The man should crawl back to Trump, even if it's not public. Just try again, but he won't do it.
No. But Chris, you're missing. So let me be clear for our Patriots. You can't sign a deal that cannot be executed. So as I said in my interview yesterday and again this morning, Keir Starmer and Zelensky signed an agreement, 100-year agreement, which is on. And I'm getting more information from this from Peter O'Brien just sent me on what we're talking about, by the way. Anyway, my point being, and by the way, folks, it's not just me. I have a great team that supports me behind the scenes. Some like being acknowledged, some don't. Anyway, Peter O'Brien, one of our great guys,
right? Navy
captain, retired. Pete just sent me some stuff on what we're talking about. That agreement between Keir Starmer and Zelensky, UK and Ukraine, is on the UK.gov website. It was signed on the 17th of January, 3 days before inauguration. It gives the UK all the mineral rights. So that's my point. It was, and I think Trump knew this. I have not talked to the White House. I have not talked to anybody. Don't be calling the White House saying Tony Shaffer's blabbing internal conversations. I have not talked to anybody over there. I'm just saying it's pretty obvious to me the White House knew what happened, what was going on. And they let him do it anyway. They let Zelensky show up. But my point to you, Chris, is that there's no deal to be had. There was never any deal. And Trump knew it. Trump knew that this whiny B, can I say B? I guess I could say B. That's not too bad.
What? He said it. He said it, didn't he?
Och.
Zelensky called Vance the same thing. Yes, Zelensky supposedly called Vance the same thing. So, hey, you can.
So there's no deal. There's no deal. There was never a deal, and we knew it. We knew it. We let him walk right into the trap, and Zelensky took the bait. Just telling you. And yeah, as Trump said, yes, TS money It was great TV. And Trump knew it. Trump, I think, wanted it to play out because he let it go on and on. Chris, he could have stopped it at any time. No, he wanted the people to see what's going on. And of course,
in fact,
the people on the left freak out and they've gone to this alternate narrative. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was just agreeing with you. He could have just said, all right, we're going to stop it right here. We're going to go into executive session. We're going to hash this out. He could have said that, but I believe he did. It makes sense. He did want the world to see what the real Volodymyr Zelenskyy is, because the media, the press would only, if this was behind closed doors, the press would only show or only try to tell you what they want you to believe about Zelenskyy. Now the people have seen it. The people have seen this man. He's an actor.
Exactly.
He's weak. Yeah. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's in over his head. And he also, again, keep in mind, this is a dictator who did not, who canceled the elections. Okay. He canceled elections. He is trying to force young people to go fight in a war that's, I mean, basically, he's just sending them all to a meat grinder. He wasted almost an entire generation of Ukrainians. He's destroyed his country. Now, I understand the valiant defense in the beginning, but we're spending all sorts of money, and we still don't have real answers to where a lot of that money went. And that's another thing. That's what I think. And I think we have a little bit of a lag, everyone. No, we're going to work on that lag. Chris Cordetti here on Wake Up Patriots. We got Tony. Tony, I think the microphone's off. There we go.
Folks, just so you all know. No, it's on. It's just whatever's going on is screwing this all up. Anyway, yeah, we get some bad lag today. I think it's the Ukrainians like lagging us, so to speak.
Well, we have Eden Gordon Hill there. And
speaking of people who are cool.
Good morning, you guys.
Good morning.
Wake up. Good morning, America. Oh my gosh, it's Monday.
Don't say that. Don't say that. We can't say good morning, America.
It is. Good morning.
We're too cool to be George Stephanopoulos up against. Okay?
We are so cool. Good morning, that's why I say good morning, my beautiful America. Not good morning, America. Good morning, my beautiful America.
All right.
That's right.
That sounds good.
Good morning, Eden.
Good morning.
Plus, by the way, and George Stephanopoulos is a member of the Extraordinary League of Short Gentlemen, like Anthony Fauci and who's the other short guy? Zelenskyy. We're talking about him. Yeah, it's like we're all midgets. Man, I have never seen so many midgets in charge of stuff. Have you, Chris? This is interesting.
No, as a matter of fact, we saw the gnomes in charge of health a while ago, but I mean, I'm tired of watching Louis Skolnick on Good Morning America every day, spouting what he used to spout when he was the Clinton mouthpiece a long time ago. If you remember that.
I do.
What's with the fashion?
He was better looking back then too.
Yes, he was, and he actually drank a lot more beer back then. I don't think I guess that's another story. So there we go. But that's definitely that's George Stephanopoulos during his college years with the Tri-Lambs.
It's good to see you guys. How's everybody doing?
So Eden, yeah. So Eden, it's been a while. It was an active weekend because I had to work, and working was a good thing in this case because as you've heard us talking about, we were able to get information out that basically balanced the narrative. Now, Eden, one of the things you do is you try on WMAL, the other organization I work closely with, besides Newsmax, is you guys work to get really information out. Now, this information we're talking about today, this prior existing agreement, it's been hiding in plain sight. This thing was signed in January before President Trump came into office. It's been sitting there, and nobody's been talking about it because it was just basically there for the British to basically be ready to exploit what they wanted. And this is the bottom line. This is what we were trying to get to that we didn't have time to, but I'm glad Eden is here now, is that the British and the EU want us to fund the protection racket to make sure they can exploit the rare earth minerals and gas for them. That's what it is, right, Eden? I mean, that's what it's a big setup to get us to underwrite their economic success.
Well, no, I agree with you. I completely agree. I feel like, I know that when the Biden administration was still in, they were funding everything but America. And I sit here and I was listening to you and I was taking notes, and I sit here and say, I just got messages from South Carolina, from Myrtle Beach, about the fires there. And Tony, you and I both know what's happening still in the western part of North Carolina. And I say, what happened to the wildfires in California? What my point is, what about America? What about America taking care of our people first? I am so sick and tired of little Zelenskyy, who is darkness, bottom line darkness. And you know what? You're right. Trump knew what was going to take place on Friday. And he revealed, the bigger, you guys know I'm a person of faith, and I'm going to talk faith left and right. So you can see light was revealed. Everything was revealed on plain sight. But this is what gets to me. My generation is pathetic. They are pathetic because all they are. And the future generations, they have erased the power of American history. And all they do is they go on social feeds and say, hey, let's support Ukraine. I stand with Ukraine. Do you guys remember where you were born? Do you remember all the freedoms that my husband, you, Tony, fought for? They're pathetic. They're an embarrassment. So what do we have in a hope for the future generations if we're going to continue to teach these Marxist principles? And that's exactly what's coming out. That's the bigger issue here. So this is going to be, obviously, you have Zelenskyy and you have all of these things happening, but okay, what's going to happen? We have 4 short years, Tony. What are we going to do in 4 short years to make sure that our patriotism is still here?
Well, let me go through that a little bit, because I think I really appreciate the way you framed it, because we need to get people to understand that this is not about Russia. Not about the EU, not about Ukraine. It's about how can we support our own citizens? How can we get back to focusing? And the idea is not, and so America first is not like America only. This is where the left always gets it wrong. It's like, no. If you can't fix your own house, how can you tell others how to fix theirs? You can't do that. It's not possible. And the left was constantly spending money we didn't have, that if we're going to spend it, should have gone to Ohio, to South Carolina, to North Carolina, to California, to Hawaii.
Right.
This idea of $750 checks when you lose your house. Oh yeah, that's going to help. That's going to help. So enough of that. And oh, by the way, the other thing that Trump's doing, and this is now on in the bills, no taxes on tips, no taxes on Social Security. It's like, gee, do you really want to help the people at the bottom and the people who are old? Then actually help them. The left never wanted to help. That's the bottom line. So what they're doing right now, and they're being very methodic. I may have had contact with someone at the Pentagon this morning about some of this. The Pentagon right now is trying to actually set up a framework to review everything logically. It's going to take time. But to your point, I'd like to believe your generation will watch and see how this Art of the Deal meets Ronald Reagan affair that's being perpetrated correctly on the federal government, with Elon Musk leading, will result in people waking up, because so much. And I just checked that tweet. So we're talking about this tweet I did right now. At this point, 1.6 million people have seen the tweet where I talk about the battle of two narratives. So people are paying attention.
Yes.
And I like to believe that's people who don't necessarily follow me. Now, I picked up 4,000 followers in the last 24 hours. So people are paying attention.
Yes.
And I'm hoping people will start asking the questions they need to ask regarding the narrative, because that people should be tired of being lied to. And nobody's ever perfect, but you have a system that's set up like the AP, Reuters,
the legacy
ABC,
media.
CBS. The legacy media will all take something and run with it, and then do everything they can to convince you that the sky is red and Hunter Biden is the smartest man in the room. Right, Chris?
Oh, yes. And the fact is, though, they do this while we all know and watch them do it and know they're lying about it. Look, the fact is, what was it? The Hunter Biden laptop, wait. The best was Joe Biden's decline. How about that? Joe Biden's decline. We see it.
Oh,
We
yeah.
saw it. We were watching it.
Yeah.
And if you watched, the first thing was, oh, he had a stutter. You people, you horrible people, should not be making fun of the man's stutter. Forget that, you idiots. I have a stutter.
Yeah.
I have a horrible stutter. The
Mhm.
man, I watched him in Congress. I watched some of his old clips. The man did not have a stutter. That's a lie.
Mhm.
But they kept trying to pull that on us because they want to make you
Right.
feel bad.
Oh, no.
Again, yep, they want to evoke your emotions. Now,
Right.
Jake Tapper
Well,
comes out
but-
with this book. Remember, Jake Tapper is supposed to
Right.
come in with a book about the whole cover up. This guy was
Well, that's
one of
what
the
that's
major
what I want to talk to Heath
perpetrators.
about. Yeah, the book.
Right.
I have a quick question for you guys. I'm going to throw something back at you really quickly. So obviously, Biden's out of office now, but my question is, do you guys have any idea what money is still being funneled to him through Zelenskyy and to the whole Biden family? I mean, you got to wonder, has anybody asked that question? Has anybody done any checking on that? Because, all the funneling of what, Hunter did, there's got to be some kind of line of direction there. Has anybody looked at that?
I wouldn't be surprised if there was anything going on, especially keep in mind, even Zelenskyy yammer on about $100 billion missing from
Right.
this, from 177. So you have to think it was funneled somewhere. It was sent somewhere. Somebody's making this money. This did not exactly disappear. Whether
Right.
Zelensky's lying, whether he was kicking it back to other people and pretending that it was missing, whether let's just say certain ex-presidents have
Right.
business interests that funnel some of that money around. Look, Russia's not the only country that launders money. This one does too, and we've seen it. So
Yeah,
look,
absolutely.
right.
Yeah. Yeah. Is Tony there? It looks like there's audio issues.
yeah, Tony's lagging a little bit. We're working on that though, and
Okay.
I know when we hear what he has to say about the whole thing, it's going to be pretty awesome. So that's how it
So-
always works.
So what's going on with Jape Tack?
All right. So no,
Tapper.
I'm just been.
It's happened again.
Oh, so well, the Jake Tapper issue. Yeah. Well, I can hear you guys now. I don't know if you can hear me. I don't know what the hell's going on, but this is
Yes.
bizarre. Anyway, there's
Russians.
like 30 seconds. There's 30-second segments. I can't hear you guys. Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't think the Russians are the bad guys this time. Anyway, my point being is that Jake Tapper does this book and says basically, oh, it's terrible that the media covered up Joe Biden's malady. It's like, you're the guys covered it up.
Yes,
Exactly.
What's the name of that book? Chris, do you have the name of the book? It's like
I'll get that. I'll
it's
get
like
that.
My Life as a Slicky Boy. Is that the name of it?
So Tony, are you saying I
that's-
should have him
that's-
on my show? Should I have him on my show?
So we have a policy. We bring if people are willing to come here and have a conversation, we'll have them on. But I would, if I were you, I'd ask them to come on. I'd
Yeah.
ask them to come on your show. You do book reviews.
Yep.
And I would have him. I don't think he'll do it. I don't think he would do it. What
He
do you
was just
think,
gonna
Chris?
be
Do you
called
think
out.
Jake would go on Eden's show and talk
No,
about his book?
He will not go on a conservative station because he knows they will call him out unless he has an answer for this. He will
Right.
call them out. They will call him out for being one of the people who perpetrated the cover
Chris,
up for
Chris,
years.
there is an answer. It's called money. He's being paid a lot of money to lie.
All right,
Come
that's
on, I
fair.
mean, it's
that's
not-
fair.
I'd love to have Adam. I think that would be fun. Oh, it'd be so much fun. And then you know what, you guys, not making fun, but at the end, I would witness to him. I'd make sure he knew about my faith and what's most important in this world.
Good.
And so,
Yeah.
that's important to me. So if I had him on, I would be testimony.
There he is.
Let's hear him. This is a
Jake,
blast from the past. Let's do it.
Spinal
How do you think it
Tap.
makes little kids with stutters
Tapper.
feel when they see you make a comment like that?
First and foremost, I had no idea that Joe Biden ever suffered from a stutter. I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to. It makes me uncomfortable.
You have
to watch
no
somebody on stage search for
that's so amazing.
questions
It's so amazing to me
and,
that
and try and figure out an answer.
cognitive
But when
decline.
you're
you-
trying to
you-
tell me that what
Larry
I was
Trump's destroying
suggesting
him.
was
I
a
think that you
stuttering,
were
I had
mocking
no
his stutter.
idea, Joe
Yeah,
Biden.
I think you were mocking his stutter, and I think you have
Vice President
absolutely no
Jake.
standing to diagnose
Wow.
somebody's cognitive decline. I would think.
Not you.
And there you go. Exactly what happened. The man tried to perpetrate that whole stutter rumor, but of course he along with the rest of the mainstream media was also perpetrating the Covington kid lie, the very fine people lie, the Russia lie. This was, and believe me, had he been around, he would still be trying to perpetrate the Zelenskyy is a hero lie.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Mary, I think it was Mary Bruce on ABC News Friday night, basically her line for about Trump and Zelenskyy, that Trump was a dictator. She didn't call him a president. She called him basically a dictator. I mean, don't quote me on that, but that's basically exactly what she was leading into. Zelenskyy, the humanitarian, Zelenskyy, the savior, so, I mean, of course she's going to do that. Legacy media, very typical. So, okay, what else? How else can we save the world today, you guys?
Well, while we're talking about this as a topic, I think that I've noticed that within the context of your world, WMAL, and our world, there's a real awakening going on because people don't trust Jake. People understand that Jake Spinal Tapper is really kind of on his last leg. It's true. It's kind of what he does. He's kind of like Spinal Tap without the humor, right, Chris? Which is a great movie, but Spinal Tap.
Well, Bad News was still better, but I'm with you on this.
Yeah. So, but I think that we're going to come to find over this next week that so much of what's going on is an awakening that actually rebalances the thing. So we were making fun about Mons Eisley and the villainy. Those people are nuts, and they're nuttier. Like you point out, Eden, they're I'll just say it, demonic worship. They worship evil. Yeah. They focus and try to protect the 10% issues, like that governor of Maine. Man, oh man.
What is chick?
Up with her? Yeah. What is up with her?
And she's just doing, I think she's just doing this to do it, just to say, look, I'm standing up to Donald Trump. And by the way, women who want to go to college, you might miss out on a scholarship or two because some dude wants to put a mop on his head and compete against you. Maybe put oranges in his shirt and say, I'm a chick, so I'm going to beat you in the shot put. Yeah, okay. There we go. That's what's going to happen. But she doesn't care because she's showing that she's standing up to Donald Trump. No, stand up for your own damn people for once. Sorry. Darn people.
So, but no, I have a question for Eden. So Eden, is it possible? Now, I know I hate to sound conspiratorial, but.
Oh, no, go ahead. I'm all
Chris, that's the best part.
Be prepared to bring up some pictures here. I've never seen Anthony Fauci and the governor of Maine together in the same room. Are they the same person? They really look the same. I mean, they've got they're about the same age.
Is she vertically challenged? Is she vertically challenged like me? Is she short?
Yeah.
Is she short?
They both. Well, I think, she and Fauci are about the same height of like 3'8".
I'm looking for them. I think I have found them. So your theory may not be on the up and up here because I have found them. This is a photo. It's from their family album. It's their wedding picture.
Ah, well, there you go. There they are.
The one on the right does look.
Well, I guess they were together at some point. Yeah,
it looks just like her.
That does look like her. They get Eden. Does she get royalties? Does the governor of Maine get royalties from the sale of those figurines?
I wouldn't be surprised if she did.
And by the way, those aren't gnome hats; they're dunce caps. That's what they. So they're a little different. The gnome caps are red, aren't they?
Well, I think they're Democrat blue, but I don't want to get into that. So. But no, so I think as we go through this today and we talk about the current events, I think it's important that people like you actually are open and direct about your faith, like we all here. We talk about having faith. I would not be here today if not for God. Yeah. I know that. I accept that, and I am grateful. Turn my day over to Him every day. It's like, you can have it because if I take charge, I'll screw it up. Just saying.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. Yeah.
So,
I'll share this with you guys. Last week, I had the honor to be around over 5,800 Christian communicators in Dallas, Texas. And my show was on the exhibit hall. And, going back to just a really quick statement you said, Tony, how people are still, there's a desperation to hear truth. And I can't begin to tell you how many people stopped at my table. And I have these bookmarks now that have the hyperlink that they can go and scan the code and listen to truth on WMAL.
That's wonderful.
But it was interesting to hear so many people saying, oh, wow, this is great. we need more of this. And other networks coming to me and saying, oh, wow, we need more of this. We need to be talking about God, country, and family. And a lot of people do, but it's a matter of, are we just skimming the surface, or are we really being salt and light? And I mean, you guys have known me for a long time now, and you know that I'm going to be bold. I'm just going to tell it as it is. And when it comes to the show,
I'm with you.
Yeah. So when it comes to the show and bringing people over to the show, if we don't have a faith discussion, I haven't done my job that day. Whether they are of faith, pro-America, or they are pro-country or pro-God. So those things are so important. And especially, Tony, and I love the fact, I'm going to zero in on this really quickly. I love the fact that Pete is asking for bullet points. If I was with him at DOD, I would be listing my bullet points and no questions asked. But that's my point. When we have people come over to the show looking to hear more about veterans and military affairs and hearing what is actually happening, the recruitment has increased. People are joining the Chap Corps. Right. The things that were issues are now becoming positive. We now see real service at our military bases. Seymour Johnson's right here behind us, and Fort Bragg, we got Fort Bragg back. I mean, this is what it's all about. And the aspects of service to this nation is all biblical, you guys. The very fundamental aspects.
Well, I think even the Romans got it. And I can't remember what it was like. What we do here will echo in eternity. Mm-hmm. So you have to have a sense of the fact that basically being Klaus Schwab and focusing only on what you can get and how you can subjugate people to basically live your life in evil. Yeah, it's not gonna play well when you get to the next level. Mm-hmm. And I do believe that we are obligated by faith to do those things which are necessary to achieve the highest good. And I know this may sound corny, but when I go into something, I always say a quick prayer. May this achieve the highest good. And I do, like, I would not have survived. I wouldn't be still here swinging.
Right, exactly.
And at the bottom of the seventh, if I hadn't taken that approach, because it's bad. And by the way, I love the fact that Zelenskyy, I don't play cards. Yeah, well, it's pretty clear you don't play cards. You have no faith, because I think he's acting in evil. Yeah. Nobody in his right mind, in my judgment, would seek to continue a war that continues to see the wholesale murder of his people. Right, Eden? Right. I mean, Trump has said correctly, I'm trying to stop the killing of your people.
Yeah.
How does that not come through?
Yeah. Well, let me throw this out there too. Do you guys realize how many Ukrainian Christians have been persecuted by Putin?
I do not know. No, tell us about that.
Well, there's a movie coming out called Faith Under Siege. And when you look at it, and there's those who have served our United States military who are of faith and went over. And it's like going to a third world country. It's like going to a communist country and basically finding out that you have to hide your Bibles. You have to hide your church meetings, go underground. And they are being persecuted. So this is what's heartbreaking to me, because the film was previewed at the convention we were at last week. And what was heartbreaking is Christians, and this can happen to us here in the United States if we are not careful. They're being persecuted for their faith, and the Bibles are being removed and they're being burned. Bottom line, that's what's happening to the Ukrainian Christians. And nobody's talking about that aspect. Is Zelenskyy talking about that? No, he's not.
No,
well, he doesn't talk about it. He could probably use it too, and that's the funny thing. He would be able to use that as far as one of his emotional appeals, and it's interesting that he is neglected to. No, that's something that's important. That's something to think about here.
Chris?
Yeah, look, Trixie in the Mix just said correctly, Azov. The Azov Brigade is essentially, I'll just say it, a bunch of freaking Nazis. Just say it. So, if you have elements of your own country which are, shaded to look like, I don't know, say, what was that military organization, Chris, that I can't remember it now. It was like the one that Himmler ran. It was like not the Gestapo. It was something else.
Was it Stalag 13?
Something like that.
Yeah.
No, but the Nazi Party. But for this, here's a quick history lesson.
The National Socialist Party. That's right. Yes. Okay.
The National Socialists created their own paramilitary units, the Waffen SS. I was getting to this. The Waffen SS. Do you know who the Waffen SS reported to, Eden?
Who?
The freaking Nazi Party. They weren't even part of the military. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So when you have units in your Ukrainian military that have certain political leanings, you need to start asking hard questions. So the Azov Brigade, and again, I'm saying this for a reason, and I know people are going to be upset. I get it, but I'm just saying that the Nazi Party created a series of paramilitary organizations. One of them was the Waffen SS. Now, when you see movies, you see like in Kelly's Heroes, one of my favorite movies, World War II movies, Kelly's Heroes. So when they come up on the tank in the village guarding the gold, that's Waffen SS. Those are politicians in the tank. That's why they cave. Just say it. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Just say it. But I'm saying if you see those guys in the black uniforms in World War II movies, they're politicians. Just so we're clear here.
Yeah.
People don't understand.
Right.
So when you start looking at the Europeans wanting to have their own EU army, I don't think it's a good idea. You don't want politicians having their own troops. It didn't work out. It didn't work out in the 30s.
But we have
not
something
working
like
out
that
in
here.
Ukraine.
We have something like that here. It's called the IRS.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm not even joking. That's the only arm of this government where you're guilty until proven innocent, and politicians have used that to go after their enemies. That is absolutely true. Right.
So, but Chris, I did want to make that point for Eden to understand. It's like there's a reason why they're going after the Christians and the faithful.
Yes.
Because there's a political trend. I don't know what you want to call it, embedded within the Ukrainian military. And by the way, the Soviets, the Russians beat the Nazis, right? So there's that element to the current fight as well.
The Russian
the
Russian weather beat the Nazis. We'll just put it that way. Okay. It was the Russian weather that beat the Nazis and Napoleon. And
that's true.
Right.
That's a good point.
Well, a lot of snow is beating Zelenskyy too, but it's a different kind of snow. Just saying.
Maybe that's where some of that money went. There we go.
Yeah.
So
what?
All right. So
let me ask you guys this: What's your forecast for this week with regards to news cycle? I've been laughing at the legacy media with regards to they're going through PTS right now. They didn't have to work for 4 years under Biden, and now they have to work.
No, they chose not to work for 4 years.
So let's go back to that, Eden. So for Chris, I don't know if you have that clip. Pete Hegseth, our friend Pete, got on X, made a statement saying, "Look, we've went through the legality of this, and we agree. All of you civilians, and Pentagon has a ton of civilians. For those who are watching this, who are in DC, WMAL covers a lot of DC, a lot of government employees, and I'm sorry, but when Pete tells you, you got to answer the questions. You need to answer the 5 questions, right? Let's go ahead and play it a little bit.
Yeah, let's play this.
Hey, everybody. Here at the Defense Department, we've got a lot of civilian patriots who dedicate themselves to defending this nation while working here at the Department of Defense. And a lot of them, many of them, most of them are critical to our national security. And as we work to restore focus on
10%.
DoD's core warfighting mission under President Trump's leadership, we recognize that we cannot accomplish that mission without the strong and important contributions of our civilian workforce. But it's a really big workforce as well, which we recognize. Now, on February 22nd of this year, OPM sent an email to all federal civilians asking them to provide, you remember this, approximately 5 bullets of what they did last week, describing their accomplishments. Well, the Department of Defense employees received direction to, at first, just initially pause responding to this request to OPM, just to pause. Now, as we said, following a review of Pentagon procedures and consultation with the Office of Personnel Management, because we do We work on topics of national security, of sensitivity, of
They do.
classification.
They do. I used to be a civilian there.
Careful on that
I know.
front.
He's right.
I am now directing each member of the department's civilian workforce, just civilian, to provide those 5 bullets on what they accomplished in their specific jobs last week, to reply to that email and CC their immediate supervisors. It's a simple task, really, as Elon said, as the president recognized in our first cabinet meeting, just a pulse check. Are you there out to DoD civilians? Now, all those DoD civilians will receive an email outlining the next steps. We'll get that email soon, that they need to take in order to comply with this initiative. And then the reports will be consolidated internally within the department to comply with the OPM directive. It's really simple and straightforward.
Really
the directive to civilian employees will be clear. Reply to the email, CC your supervisor, provide without any classified or sensitive information, basic topics of what you did last week. And that we will take that into consideration as we make sure we're being as focused and as tailored as possible in looking at how we streamline our workforce to both meet the fiscal demands of the moment, but also ensure we have the strongest, most viable fighting force in the world. Thanks.
So, all right. So let's talk about this. So, and by the way, a caveat in the email that went out, they basically said, and don't put down Call of Duty, global order 4 as an accomplishment. Playing that doesn't count. You don't play Call of Duty. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 5. No, that doesn't count as an accomplishment. Just saying. So, but so I was one of those civilians. I was in what they call the accepted service. I got fired because I was a whistleblower, but that's a tale for another day. But Eden, I think part of this is, and by the way, one of my old bosses, Chuck Scanlon, General Scanlon, commander of Intelligence Security Command, was asked during an interview. He was commander of INSCOM down at Fort Belvoir. He was asked during an interview with the media. The media says, General, how many people work at the Intelligence and Security Command? And Chuck said, oh, about half. And I think Chuck's going to come. I mean, I think Pete's going to come out with the same answer. How many people work at the Pentagon? About half. This is great. This is good. Let's do this.
What would you say you do here?
That's what he's asking. That's an honest question, right?
Exactly. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's reasonable, and I know what Pete said about don't give anything. You don't have to give anything classified out to say these are the 5 things I did.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So Eden, how do you think the Pentagon workforce is going to respond to this?
Well, we'll say half who actually love patriotism and love this nation will respond with respect, to the president and Pete, and the other half will say, "See ya, I'm out of here. Where's my 8 months of compensation pay?" It'll probably be half and half.
No,
when I was at OPM in the last half of the first Trump administration, I wish we would have done this.
Yeah.
Because,
me too.
Because it was during COVID, and I was traveling back and forth from Eastern North Carolina to OPM to work when we were being told by little Fauci, you can't even sit across from one another. And, the lazy government worker took advantage of that, and you never saw any of the swamp come into OPM. You saw all the appointees, and that was it. So I wish we would have done that back then, and I'm glad we're doing it now.
Oh, no.
So,
no.
Well,
Hold on
part
a
of this
Tony?
is
what's wrong?
I just got an email from Ed. Ed's asking us to list the 5 things we've done in the past week. We're in trouble.
Sure,
We're done.
Sure.
Can we do 3 and a half?
I put more toilet paper in my guest bedroom. Does that count?
I hung up my new cool picture of me. There we go.
I organized national media for the National Religious Broadcasters Convention last week for 1,500 people.
There you go. I put the picture of President Trump and I from our June rally up there on my wall, but you can't see.
Hey, I
did a
woke
few
up this
things.
morning. Here we go. And that's 2/3 of the title, by the way.
Yeah.
So it's good, right?
Well, I want to go back to this thing with civilians because President Clinton, you might remember that guy with the cigar, right? He and he was pretty good with cigars. Just saying, from what I've heard, I don't know.
That was my college days.
Yeah. Well, so and I think it was 94. We went through this reduction in force. I lived through it. I was a
I remember. Yep.
I was a GS-13 at the time. And so something very similar happened where every position had to be justified. It was Al Gore. I'm going to put everything in a Dropbox. Al Gore, the world's going to end in 10 years. That would happen 20 years ago, but just say anyway, that we went through a 380,000 person reduction in force. It was called the peace dividend, right?
The P dividend, the P Diddy dividend.
The P dividend. Yeah, there's the P. There's the P with the dividend. There you go. That's right. Boy, I can only imagine why he was smiling at Hurley. It's like, man, I can't wait to oil you up. Man, oh man.
No, come on. That's not breakfast yet. Please stop.
There's nothing better than P. Diddy oil, right? Texas P.
Oh man, blessed.
Anyway, back to the show in progress. The whole idea is that the Democrats said it was okay when they do it, and then when I came in, and this is what they're trying to do. When I joined in '87 as a DoD civilian, as I came in, there was a hiring freeze, and the hiring freeze was you cannot hire against new positions. If someone retires, if it's a critical and I was a military case officer, so they hired me into a career cover position. It was a 1-for-1. Someone retires, someone can come in for those critical positions. So even during 86, 87, and 88, Reagan was cutting back. So that's what they're trying to do, and I think it's in our interest to support that. Now, of course, the Fauci lovers who got to go home and never come back, they're all upset. There's been all these civilians showing up saying, "Well, it was very distracting to have to answer email because reasons. What's wrong with these people?"
Right, exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, Chris DeGaulle, who you guys love. I know you guys know Chris.
I love
DeGaulle
Chris.
too.
Oh yeah,
And so
Chris and our friends. Yeah.
He's been talking a lot about all the civilians that, long story short, they've lost their jobs and they've been whining and being babies and not.
I lost my job and I got fired, so I know the feeling. It happens,
And I sat there and thought, most of Americans don't realize the beltway of Washington, D.C. They don't realize the living aspects of Washington, D.C. But my point in saying that is, a lot of them never had to go in. Now they actually have to go in and work if they're going to keep their jobs.
Exactly.
They actually have to work, kind of like the press corps actually has to work now.
Yeah.
And I think that's why there's such PTS right now. Everybody's going, shook up because Trump's actually working and getting things done for the American people. I can't wait to see what happens this week. This week is going to be very telling in so many different aspects, and I'm excited to see what's next.
Yeah. Well, just for any of the civilians, any of the GSers listening, look, being fired is not the end of the world. I mean, as I went on, I did a New York Times best-selling book. I produced TV. I became an advisor to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Joe Dunford, back during during the Obama, last years of Obama, first years of Trump. I got elected to be a county commissioner. Life doesn't end because you can't have your phony baloney job, right, Chris?
Oh yeah, believe me, I've been in radio for a long enough time to know that.
You take the lemons and you make lemonade. You run for office. You start a podcast. You get a radio show. You represent book authors. You do publicity. You get out there and you make a difference in the next generation. Right?
That's right. We made a difference, but we make more of a difference than Geraldine Ferraro said she did in what was it, 1984? That's what it was. She made no difference.
I know it's after 10, you guys. I gotta go. You guys are rocking and rolling. Have a blessed week.
We gotta go too.
Yes, we do.
So, Eden, thank you for helping us put both media and some of the DoD stuff in perspective. Absolutely. We love having you on. We'll have you back soon. Chris, always thank you for not washing up on the Santa Monica Pier all drunk this morning. I always
might happen soon, but we'll see.
Yeah,
too much sun in it.
That's great. I know. Well, it's good. Anyway, and thanks, Patriots, for having faith in us.
Yes, thank you.
We love you guys being here. Get the word out that our job, as Eden said, is to help people understand and have faith. Right, Chris? I mean, having faith and understanding That's next to godliness, you know. And
That is true.
we'll make sure Hunter Biden doesn't go back to Burisma and start getting all that money again, right?
Well, you know what? He can't go to Solyndra now, can he?
No, Solyndra. No,
Solyndra. That's it. I keep calling it Solyndra.
Solyndra. No,
Yes.
that was Hillary Clinton's part. Solyndra with Carlos Danger. Remember Carlos
that's
Danger?
gotta hurt.
Yeah.
That's gotta hurt. Well, she was
All
always.
right.
Yeah.
Bye, you guys. Have a
All
Bye,
blessed
Eden.
day. Bye, you
And
guys.
Patriot, yeah.
Bye.
All right, and so we got to go too. Patriots, it's been great seeing you. We'll see you again tomorrow, right? We're back again tomorrow.
Yep.
But Tracy's who's running the
Tracy
show?
and Tracy's here, Karen's here, and Barry's here.
Great. All right, so we're going to have a great show tomorrow. Chris is going to be off doing Ed McMahon training. He's going to be doing the scales. Da 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 da.
Yes, absolutely.
You know.
Hey, I'll practice my drinking.
Hey yo, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, folks. Take care.